Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cloud9, the host of the waviest podcast of the land, New England hippies. Let's get it. I'm sitting here with an OG. He's a legend. You know what I mean? He be doing his thing when it comes to the 1-2s and the turntables. You know what I mean? He been doing it for a minute now. You know what I mean? I'm happy to call him a brother. I'm happy to call him a friend. You know what I mean? I'm really like using associates because I feel like that's somebody you use. Well, you know what I mean? Shout out DJ Strange, man. What's going on, man?
GJ Strategy in the building, man. What's going
Strategy,
on?
my fault. Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Last time we got a chance to chop it, man, we was actually out there with you in the city, man. That was crazy.
Man. Yeah. Yo, we was in Hampton Beach. New Hampshire Beach.
Yes.
That shit was
Hampton Beach out in New Hampshire. That Cloud9. I reached back out to Cloud9 too recently, man, just to see what was going on.
Cloud9 bar. I reached out to that bar too, man. You know what I mean? And we gotta get shout out to Cloud9 bar and lounge because if I'm not mistaken, they're like the only black people that got clubs out there. So man, I that's a big shout out and big love, man. You know what I mean? And for personal experience, the white folks hate that out there because, man, soon it hit like 12, 1 o'clock, man, they was ready to run up in there just to stop it, man. I was just like, yo, it's just like, I don't know, man, but shout out to them.
No doubt. Shout out to the whole Cloud9 family. And unfortunately, just to talk about it, G, the person who brought me into that whole situation, Buck50, the CEO, he suffered his demise in June. He was murdered in Las Vegas back in June. Don't know the details of what happened behind that whole situation, but big shout out to Buck50, the CEO, man. Rest in peace, Buck50.
Rest in peace, big man. Rest in peace, Buck50. Me personally, I didn't know that, man. So that's kind of shocking to me. I'm definitely gonna spark one up, man. You know what I mean? Spark one up for man. I'll definitely say a little prayer for him and his family, man. Cause I was saying, man, I'm not saying talk like I knew him a lot like that, like personally stuff like that. Right. But for me, knowing him,
and the energy.
Yeah, word. Yeah. I rocked with his vibe and his energy, and I could tell that he was a businessman. He was like, you know what I mean. He was on it. And he was kind of high energy, but you know what I mean. But I rocked with it because he wasn't like, you know what I mean. And he was genuine too. Like yo, he liked it. I could tell that he's kind of perfectionist. He want everything to go perfectly, and I rocked with him because of that. You know what I mean. So it's like
everything to go the right way. We was when we first we touched down. Like I literally had to fix Cloud9's entire sound system. You know what I mean? Like I had to go and revamp their whole sound system because what they were saying is they wanted that New York sound. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody was like, yo, we need to get strategy out there and get that New York sound. But like I say, yeah, rest in peace to Buck50, the CEO, man. Track dealers, everybody, big shout out to track dealers, big shout out to everybody out there that supported that brother, man. But yeah, that was the first time we actually clicked up and we were doing that whole showcase out there. We did a full showcase of summer. That was my summer concert series that I started out here in PA. And then we went to different cities with that. We also brought the runner-up for season 12 of The Voice. We brought Jay Chosen out there with us. We did the live performance. I'm still actually working with Jay Chosen. I just had, we did, right before the pandemic, we did SOBs, Sounds of Brazil in New York City, along with Treston Irby and High Five. Big shout out to High Five, big shout out to Treston Irby, big shout out to my man Chris. And Jay's doing his numbers. As a matter of fact, I just talked to him early this evening. So as soon as I get finished with the interview with you, I gotta chop up his show mix for his performance that he got coming up. But yeah, been doing this for a little while, man. Been doing this for a little while. Started off in the industry as an MC, well, dancer first. Used to be a background dancer. You probably see me in some of the 80s videos with Juice Crew, Marley Marl, MC Shan. You may see me back in the days, you know, doing my break dancing moves back in that time. And got into a plug with Sal Albatello from The Fever. And me and my crew used to get called up whenever they had video shoots or they had something going on, you know, and they needed a crowd behind them or they needed some hoppers or B-boys behind them. Sal would give us a call and we'd, you know, pull up and go out, walk a dawns and stuff like that. Ladies First video with Queen Latifah. Also the Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd video from back in the days. Craig G's video from back in the day. So it started from there. And unfortunately, in the process of that, I wound up getting stuck on tour. Because, you know, I don't know if you know that if you're a roadie and you get that tap on your beeper or whatever, and you don't move when they tell you to move, you know what I'm saying? You wind up getting stuck. So I wound up getting stuck a couple of times. I got stuck in DC, got stuck in North Carolina, and I created a couple of alliances there that pushed me into the, you know, to the mid 80s, into the early 90s. And that kind of propelled me into the other side of the industry, which I don't really like to get into it. I don't really like to talk about it because I don't want any negative aspect to come out of that because I changed that whole situation around in my life. I left that whole game and that whole situation alone because I seen the end result of it. So I don't really like to talk about it, but 13 years of my time I spent, you know what I mean, away from the streets, away from my family, away from my kids, you know, and it wasn't a pretty sight. You know, they called me 6-state stratagee. That's because I was in 6 different federal penitentiaries in 6 different states. And my legendary came through my hands. And it came through those plus degrees, those phenomenal plus degrees that I used to create for the 5% Nation and the Nation of Gods and Earth. So that's where my reputation came from. And before I came out, I, you know, used my attribute. I was using my attribute in the industry. Everybody called me Big F. So I came out after 13 years at about 245 pounds, soaking wet. You know what I mean? Just running, like maneuvering through the industry, you know, trying to get an association for my nephew at the time. You could do a little research. His name is Troy Slugs. And when I came out, we were trying to push his project at that time through K Slade, who's my god brother. Big shout out to K Slade, Street Sweepers, Volume 1, the whole Street Sweeper, the whole conglomerate. Big shout out to Sub-Zero, big shout out to it's gonna be a lot of shout outs. It'll be a lot of shout outs. Big shout out to Melbo, big shout out to everybody, you know, my graduating class. And we went from there, man. We just took it from there. Behind the scenes, I was doing a lot of management. I'd be on stage with my artists, Troy Slugs. We'd travel around wherever we had to go, do performances, do shows, stuff like that. And I had the opportunity to book him for an interview with up and coming internet radio show. At the time, it was only a couple of outlets at that time as far as internet radio was concerned. You had Shovio, which was with Star and Buck Wild. Y'all know him now. He has a totally different name now. They don't call him Star no more. He's a billionaire off his podcast shit. They also had my sister, my god sister, Miss Jones, on their show. Other than that, you didn't have really too much internet radio per se. You probably, and no podcast. There's no such thing as a fucking podcast back, you know, around that time. And I got a call from a young lady by the name of A.D. the General. I'm sure you probably heard of her on the underground circuit. Again, rest in peace to A.D. the General. I got a call from her, you know, we were setting up an interview for my artist, Troy Slugs, on her radio show. And she immediately was like, yo, man, like, you got a voice, like, you flow. And I was like, you know, I was a writer, you know, I rap, you know, I got a little freestyle, you know, I could write, you know, whatever, if I have to, you know. And she was like, nah, but you got a voice. You got a very distinctive voice, you know, and you should try to do something with radio. Now, as a kid, growing up, listening to Mr. Magic, Marley Marl, the Awesome Two, Teddy Ted. One of my favorite DJs was Dr. Bob Lee. One of my favorite DJs was definitely Mr. Magic, super rocking DJ Mr. Magic, because I was on the Queens side. I grew up in Queens. So, you know, when that whole Bridge is Over and that whole thing that was going down with, you know, in New York City, which was one of the biggest beefs in history, you know, the Bronx against Queens, KRS-One, you just seen them in the verses, you know, against Big Daddy Kane. That was my Juice Crew was my squad. That was my squad. I used to play basketball and went to school with Craig G. So that gave me the opportunity to always be around him. And my first cousin, the first original female signed to Marley's label is Dimples D. People always get it wrong and they always say it's Shantae. But Dimples D was the first person, my first cousin, to sign to Marley Marl's label. You know, before it was Cold Chillin'. And she had a song called Sucker DJs. So with that, you know, I just always kind of hung around them. And, you know, every once in a while I sneak out to Queensbridge. This is before Nas. This is around the days of, you would probably say, the Juice Crew, MC Shan, Kool G Rap, those days. You know what I'm saying? Big Daddy Kane. Took it like 85. Took it like 85, 86, 85, 86, you know, that era. So, you know, with that being said, you know, when she hit me on that type of time, I was like, all right, I'll do it, no problem. I'll come up there, check out the station. You know, it was a little fee, you know, you had to pay a little $150, you know, to get on the air, you know, whatever, and do your show. And fortunately for me, prior to me coming back out of that whole cycle, that 13-year cycle, when I came home, I had the pleasure of working with an individual out of North Carolina by the name of Larry Pickett, with the Larry Pickett TV show. Larry was like a up-and-coming, you know, dude that was doing interviews with all the artists. #1 show on NBC in the Eastern Seaboard, in the Eastern area of North Carolina. I mean, different channels, NBC, ABC, CBS, all the local channels in North Carolina had the view. You had to have the Larry Pickett show on your joint. So I was able to like kind of scoop some ideas from Larry and put it into UTSL, the network. It was called Under the Streetlight Radio. And that's when I started getting into doing interviews and using my college experience as a journalist to kind of use that to do electronic press kits for artists in the industry. I did Max B, I did French Montana, I did Core 2 Gs, I did Little C's, I did Chinch Drugs, I did Fred the Godson, I did Uncle Murder.
Fred the Godson, shout out Uncle Murder.
I got a bunch of shows, you can check out some of the catalog of some of my shows are still surfacing. Because like I said, at that time, a lot of the networks that we had, you know, we was going off of digital webcams, you know, basically uploading our footage. Sometimes the footage you get lost, or, you know, you never know what happens. I mean, some of them shows, but a lot of the footage now, a lot of my archives, you can check them on YouTube, because I found a lot of my archives. So some of my interview with Fred the Godson is up there. Also with Jenny Romero, Sasha Duvall from the movie Before I Self-Destruct. I got an interview up there with Fuzz from the Muscle Team. I got just crazy joints. I did basically 15 years in an internet radio circle. And it's funny because now a lot of them dudes that I interviewed now, they coming of age, even with like Lil Durk. It's funny to me because I met Lil Durk way back, like this is like the early 2000s.
Okay.
Out in Queens. He came out to Queens with Chinks in him, and we shot a video for Lil Durk out in Howard Beach along with Reek the Villain. Big shout out to Reek the Villain also. So after doing internet radio and doing interviews with Ali Vegas, stuff like that, man, I just like, I just like, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I did that. Like I said, I did it for like 13, 14 years. And I just basically, when I moved, because to me, it just started getting spooky. The industry to me started getting spooky. You know what I mean? Like, you had dudes like Chase Drugs, Stack Bundles, just getting, missing off the scene. Because a part of my life, I grew up in Astoria, Queens, but my summers, most of the time, I was out in Far Rockaway. So I always have like an infinity.
Where's that at?
That's a different part of Queens. It's like they call it. We used to call it the last borough, because you got 5 boroughs in New York. So we used to call Far Rock the last borough because Staten Island was considered the 6th borough, but we was like so off the map, and Far Rockaway is so off the radar that nobody really wanted to fuck with us to that degree. Like, it's only one way in, one way out, and that's the last stop on the train. So if you out there, you out there. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about they outside, when you come to Far Rock, you outside. Ain't nothing but beach, water, sand out there. So up and down those beaches, you got a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you wouldn't really know who was from there unless they absolutely mentioned it. So like Father MC, you taking that way back to the early 80s, 90s, where Puff Daddy, that was one of the only honorable mentions at that time that you had from Far Rockaway. But then out of nowhere, you have Stack Bundles, the Riot Squad, Core 2Gs, Bino, and Chinch Drugs. Then you had Nicki Minaj out there basically auditioning for Stack Bundles, where she was supposed to be one of the original members of the Riot Squad, and wound up getting signed, to Young Money, Cash Money. But Far Rockaway known for Stack Bundles, known for Chinch Drugs, but also known for, putting in that work and, the violence associated with the streets. And, that was crazy. Far Rockaway was crazy. But if you could maneuver your way through the sand and through the drama, you basically came through there. So, so I always had an affinity for those two parts of my hometown, Astoria and Far Rockaway. You know what I mean? But that's when I left. I was like, after Hurricane Sandy happened and it drowned the shit out of the beach, and after Chinch Drugs got murdered, I was like, yo, I'm out of here, bro.
I know we talked about the violence. Sorry to cut you off. We talked about violence and all that stuff like that. Let's talk. You saw what happened. Like you mentioned, Chinks. And recently, young Dolph, Nipsey. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about the violence that's going on in hip hop right now? You know what I mean? You're a legend. You're an OG.
Yeah, I feel like it's going too far, man. It's going too far. Where I think what people missing is they missing that hip hop was started for a particular reason. See, most people think it was started out of strife, out of a desperation or a sense of hope that could come out of the music. Yeah, it was, but initially it was started to create a balance in the streets, violence and the gang violence that was happening back in that time. In the early 1970s, 70s, 80s, you had a lot of gang violence still prevalent in the city, because some of them cities was, built with that gang violence, whether you talk about mafia, whether you talk about crime or whatever. Most of those cities, their notoriety was built based off of that bad man mentality. And because of that, the forefathers, that decided to create a hip hop, they created the culture to prevent people from having to get into squabbles, fights, gang violence, or whatever. No doubt, yeah. But it just started from that, and from going to that level of hip hop, and seeing it being structured to stop all of the gang violence and stop all of the stuff that was going on in the streets. That's what it was made for. Now you see we get right back into the same type of mentality, you know, of that street violence again, man, with, you know, young Dolph, with some of the demises that we just seen recently. It's crazy. It's like the hardest job right now in society is being a rapper. You know what I mean? If you're a rapper, you got to be on your P's and Q's, you know, on everything. You got to make sure you got tight security. You got to make sure the dudes are around you. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? They're not a target. You got to make sure that dudes that's around you didn't start no beef before the concert. You know, it's a lot of stuff that goes with being a hip hop artist. So I like for me, you know, I think it's going too far. I think it's going way too far to the point that, you know, it's messing up the industry. It's messing up the business part of the industry, because I think we got past that. At a certain point in time, we got past that. You know what I'm saying? We got past that when it was a Wu-Tang, when it was Black Moon, when it was a Tribe Called Quest. It was,
you could even bring it back, even way before my time. This is your time too. You could even bring it back to KRS-One, Criminal Minded, and all that stuff too. So
right.
You know what I mean? So
it was always a level of tutelage that came out of hip hop that kind of gave you warnings or warning signs of what was going on in the streets and what was happening in the streets, but you didn't have the streets permeating, you know, totally imbuing and staying in the industry the way that it is now. You know, there was always a split. You know what I mean? We used to always say that, you know, like you can't mix business with pleasure, but at the same time, we used to say we can't mix, you know, hip hop with the streets. You know, because those industry people, when you go to that office and you sit down and you sign that contract, that's the last thing they want to hear, is that the artist that they just signed to a multi-million-dollar contract has been gunned down in a shootout. You know what I mean? Over something. Now it's coming out that homegirl who worked at the cookie shop, that she had something to do with it. And
it's like it's so much ish that's coming out about young Dolph, about his case. It's coming to the point where I'm not even speculating. I'm just taking all information. I was like, yo, this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. And I don't want to be the dude that says something and then it's not really true because whatever else is saying. But I don't know. But it is kind of crazy. But certain things it'll come in as crazy. It's like you find out about the car in front of the crib and who be at that crib, and then you find out, like you saying, the lady who works there is probably related to, I'm not gonna say nobody's name, but related to a certain person he had problems with, and then they're trying to say he was shot in the store before they even came out and started shooting him outside the store. So I'm just like, what the, you know? So I'm just like, man,
right. There's a lot of speculation to that.
A lot of speculation,
and even then, like, you know. And you look at them two, the two individuals that they mentioning, you know, you don't want to go as far as mentioning their names, but at the same time, you look at those two individuals. I got a lot of respect for my man. And the reason why I say I got a lot of respect for him, because he was on the same child line as me. You know what I mean? You know, with all due respect, you know, Gotti was on that same child line. You know, and I know he got it from the mud. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, there's true sides, it'll be difficult. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of, like I said, I stay neutral to certain shit because, excuse my language, I stay neutral to certain things because I have an alliance or a level of respect for certain individuals in the industry because of what they may have said or what they may have done, you know, helping me out, you know, throughout the years in the industry. But it's just a sad situation that it got to come to certain things like that. And at the end of the day, you still, at the bottom line, somebody still lost their life.
Their life,
you know
man.
What I mean? You know, somebody still lost their life. And then, you know, you got that part of the culture that's becoming so much part of the culture that people can't really focus on the music, dude. It's not like even if you got a hot album, you know, unless you got a viewership or some type of what you want to call it, drama attached to it, most of the industry people they don't want to mess with it.
But
Because
but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these cats with these drama, they're independent now. They're going, a lot of people going independent, and the drama is making them sell, making their music sell. Because you know what I'm saying, they got beef with somebody. They want to say, oh, yo, I think he name dropped such and such in the track. So you go listen to the track, you know what I mean? So it's like this a fault. But you know what I mean? In a way, it's like the fans too. But at the same time, it's just like, yo.
Because they wanted because the fans want some type of momentum to go with, with their favorite rapper. They wanted to have certain leverage in the game as well. So that's understandable. But I think with everybody, like I said, with hip hop being started and founded for that particular reason, to get rid of the violence in the inner cities and in the hoods, I think that was important. To me as an OG, growing up, when we went to parties in Brooklyn, coming from Queens, we did have to worry about how the hell we was getting home. You know what I'm saying? Right. We had to worry about how you was getting home because, the Brooklyn dudes may have it out for you that night. Or them dudes from the Bronx, they may have it out for the Queens dudes that night. You know what I'm saying? So it could go that way. So you had to maneuver. You had to have the razor blade, underneath your tongue in your mouth. You had to carry that with you, going where you had to go. But at a certain time, like all of that stopped. Just stopped. And it wasn't that type of level of violence going on in hip hop to the degree where everybody would see each other and it was so much love that you didn't even have time to be beefing with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much money to be made in the industry that nobody have time to be beefing. What you beefing for?
And I think one of those times of right now too is just like there's so much money to be made in the music industry right now, especially these cats are doing independently too. So they're seeing a lot more money now. So I was just like, yeah. But like I would say going back to going back to Young Dolph, I was a fan of Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. So it was kind of hard, like kind of watching the beef because they both got songs I rock with. I rock with Young Dolph hard, but I also rock with Yo Gotti too. So it was kind of like their whole beef was just like, damn, they're really beefing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just too much issue
and it's crazy. Yeah, and it's crazy too. If you're a DJ, you got an issue because, with certain companies, like for instance, big shout out to mp3wax.com. I've been a member of mp3wax.com for 15 years. Shout out to Will and them and the whole family out there in Atlanta. And I get exclusives. I get joints from MP3 Wax that most DJs don't have. And I'll have them joints for 6 months in advance, to be honest. Because the tracking of music is a little bit different than most people expect. People think as soon as you come out with a song, it's a hit, but that's not true. It takes a little while for that song to resonate through the industry, for somebody to find it. And then the next part of it is you have to find a DJ that's going to break it. See, people think, that component is no longer relevant in the industry, but that's one of the most important parts of this industry. And that's the DJ. And you saw that during the pandemic.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Now, during the pandemic, you got a chance to see how important the DJ is to this whole music setup. Because without the DJ, you ain't going to get nobody to break the records. Nobody ain't going to hear it unless somebody plays it. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't have a relationship with the radio, you don't got no relationship with a DJ, you ain't going to make it out. I don't care what nobody says. People talk about, yeah, I made it. I'm the brand new rapper. But I bet you $1 million behind that rapper and behind that rapper's exposure, there's a DJ somewhere sitting in his crib who exposed that song, to social media on his platform or something like that to make somebody be able to find that song and then take that song and put it into rotation. So a lot of times as DJs, we don't get our credit for that shit. Excuse my language, but we don't get our credit for it. But
you good.
Yeah, but that's the reality of it. you know, and there's no real monetary compensation for that. Like me being a DJ, I can't say to you, yo, fam, just send me 2 songs and I'm gonna place them on my social media and I'm gonna charge you $100, you know, to do that. Nah, that's not my style. My style is being the type of dude that's able to cross over by playing your music and exposing your music to my platform. And if people like it, then they like it. That just adds to my credentials because now I got a point of reference. To the end of this day, I still have a point of reference. But somebody can say the first time they heard Bodak Yellow, no bullshit. The first time you heard Bodak Yellow, go look at my timeline. Go take a look at my timeline on social media on Instagram and see if Cardi B did not send me that track originally, you know, to my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, certain shit like, you know, just certain stuff like that. So, you know, with that being said, yeah, the DJ plays a definite component in what happens. And when you get in situations like that with Dolph and Gotti, it become hard, man. It become hard for you to, all right, you know, I don't want to play this and this got that sound in it. That's the same thing I was talking with somebody earlier. That's the same thing with 6ix9ine. I didn't play none of his shit. And I mean, I'm saying that not out of disrespect for him as an artist. I just watched this kid because I was a little bit different on social media. See, I started out with MySpace. You know what I'm saying? I started out with MySpace when I first came home. And when I first came to MySpace was the shit then. So the little cats, big shout out to Playboy have my man Tommy, my right hand man on the street like radio. He was like a tech geek. You know what I'm saying? So we was doing songs at that time. You know, like I said, I had a pen. So we was doing songs at that time and we was releasing them and putting them on MySpace. And then once we put them on MySpace, we started finding other little content on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Those stuff on the internet, here's and there's. So now we in the loop now. We're in the super loop now. We know what it is about, you know, viewership. We know what it is about clicks. We know what it is about likes. We know what about all this stuff. And then once MySpace kind of faded off, then Facebook came into fruition. So we was on every loop. As soon as Facebook happened, boom, we was on that loop. We put Under the Streetlight Radio on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? We had 2 pages, Under the Streetlight Radio on Facebook, and then we had the group, then we had all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way that we was able to upload our footage, you know, to social media so people could watch the shows. So that's why I said now you still have footage from Under the Streetlight Radio from interviews that I did that's still just coming out now because, you know, Facebook does the Facebook memories, you know, the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you got people memories coming up where they may have went live on social media or on Facebook and take, you know, or recorded the show, you know, that they was doing the interview with. But yeah, but we was on the loop. So I got a chance to like see Shorty, I'm talking about 6ix9ine, before he became 6ix9ine. And I saw the footage of him raping the little 13-year-old girl. And I saw the deaf culture. I'm gonna hit that again. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. I saw the deaf culture coming through that individual because everything about him was dark. Everything about him was HIV. You see the clothing line that he had, HIV, we have HIV, big letters, AIDS, he would have suck my dick on his clothes. I mean, this is all the stuff that he was doing back then to get noticed and to get viewership on the internet. Then, you know, next thing you know, he comes out that he's a videographer. They shoot videos in Brooklyn. So I never really rocked with him. I really felt like a different type of vibe from him. So when I got, you know, to the point of being a DJ, like I said, it's hard because you got to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? What you associate with your brand as a DJ too. Because certain shit you play in a club or certain song you play at a party, that can determine whether you get booked again or you don't.
Right.
You know, and at one point in time, you know, it was it was, you know, I'm not playing that. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of Crips in here. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of God. It's a bunch of God body in here. I'm not playing that. You know what I mean? Then it got me kind of restricted. Certain clubs wouldn't even bother with me. They was like, yo, we ain't fucking with you. You know, you can't come here and DJ if you don't play certain songs. And I'm like, I don't play that because I'm not going to promote violence. I'm not going to promote a deaf culture around my brand because I don't want people to associate me with death. You know what I'm saying? Or associate me with negative energy or negative, you know, shit like that. So I never played Shorty. I never played his music.
Not for to cut you off. So as a DJ, like what kind of, you say you don't promote deaf culture, what kind of music do you play?
Nah, I play the drill music, okay. And I associate it with because I can't be that far out the loop. You know what I'm saying? I have, you know, fortunately for me, I have a son, I have a daughter, I got grandkids, I got grandnieces and nephews. And if Uncle G ain't playing, you know what I mean, took her to the O, you know what I'm saying? Uncle G, I thought you was an OG. I thought you was, you know, you can't not play it. But what I do is I play the cleaner version.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I play the cleaner versions. I'll do it that way. You know what I'm saying? But if it's just all out, just straight out, just shoot them up, kill them up, you know, hit her from the back, slap it. I'm not giving you all that. I'm gonna give you the cleaner version. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I'll give you the cleaner version. I'm gonna water it down, but I'm still gonna play "Took It to the O" because you know.
I ain't gonna front. I always rock with "Take It to the O." That was my jam. I always rocked.
It's a total that's what Vaughn to me. That's what King Vaughn to me brought to the game. He brought a energy and a vibe to the game that we was missing at that time because of the situation that happened with Nipsey.
Yeah, facts. And I ain't gonna front. One of my fault to cut you off. One of my other favorite tracks, I forget that King Vaughn had, where my shorty at the time used to piss me off. I always listen to Jose shit. That was my jam. Like that was like, yo, it wasn't like he was a talking shit. He was just like, yo, he was just a real cat to speak in his mind. Why he's just like, like yo, you hear the times of Jose shit, and then until you listen to it, he's just like, yo, he's kind of talking about how a chick did him dirty. You know what I mean? Yo, it's a message behind his music. Yeah,
and that's what I said because he had that type of mentality to where is that he had the capability to go the right direction. You know what I'm saying? He could do what he had to do. Lyrically, he could do what he had to do, but for the notoriety, you know what I mean? For not so much for the clout, but for the notoriety and to be accepted in the industry in that genre of drill music, it comes with drama. It supposedly comes with drama, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And I think because it's a different wave of music, that doesn't mean that it's supposed to come with drama. I think it should come with.
I mean, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you, but I also feel like drill music was made from drama. It was supposed to, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like, yo, how can you change something that was built from that? You know what I mean? It was just like drill, like it was just like I kind of wish they just kept it music wise. You know what I mean? Yo, I don't like you, you don't like me. Let's just keep your music. But they're actually really talking about it and really doing it. You know what I mean? But I wish they kind of just kept it like more music. But you know what I mean? It came from, yo, I'm saying I'm gonna do this, yo, we just did this and that to your mans, and we're gonna do this and that to you when we see you. You know what I mean? It was just like, and then they say certain things are like, yo, for a minute, I didn't know Tuka was a real person for a minute. I had to start saying I'm smoking on Tuka. Like one time I was chilling, I said, yo, I'm smoking on some Tuka. My man was boy, he's like, yo, you know you talking about that. I said, no, now you talking about I'm smoking on some Tuka, it's on fire. You know what I mean? Came on always saying it. And then he put me on. I said, damn, I gotta stop saying that. Cause I might be around somebody, I might be like, I'm smoking on some Tuka, and they might really be offended because that could be
Because they from that side.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, so as a fan, guys, just be careful when these rappers say certain things. Do your research before you start shouting it out. That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. My mom's, God bless my mom. My mom used to always tell me, be careful of the songs that you sing because you don't know the history behind it. And it's funny because even in that, like you talk about R&B, right? Now let's say you talk about R&B, right? And you singing a song, you know, let's say for instance, this is R&B, just use an example. And you talk about pony, ride it, my pony. You know what I mean? You singing the song, you know. It's a song that a dude is writing to a female.
Yeah.
But it could be a song that a dude is writing to a dude too. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful.
I never thought about it like that a day in my life. I'm just saying, but you're 100% facts though. It could be.
Right. And you would never know that. You never know that a dude is actually singing to a dude, another dude. Like,
yeah.
You know
and we singing to a whole female. Like,
I think we talking about a female, you know, even then, I liked that aspect of the music industry because it was still intricate because you had the ability to metaphorically express certain things, like with Rick James, how Rick James talked about marijuana and you thought he was talking about a female. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Or D'Angelo, he's talking about brown sugar, you know, he was talking about, you know,
you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? So that metaphoric ability of artists being able to be descriptive and flip it around and change it that way, that was always dope. But I think the whole perspective, the whole perspective of hip hop and music in general was to curtail or to give another direction to that street violence and give us another way to be able to address street violence.
Yeah, I mean, like, but I think we got a lot of that in the 90s, though. We had a lot of that different wordplay, metaphors and metaphors and assemblies. Like, it was certain things I listened to as a kid, like when Biggie would say certain things around as a kid. Now I listen to it while I'm like 21 now. I was like, oh shit, hold on, that's what he was talking about. You know what I mean? The little 10-year-old me didn't catch that. You know what I mean? I think I know what he's talking about, but then I'm trying to say, yo, hold on. The whole time I thought he was talking about that. Now he's really talking about it. Just clicks on you. You finally listen to it, and I think that's the ill thing about '90s music too, because you might listen to it, and then you might catch something like, hold on, that's what he meant by that. Hold on, what he just because they're using the metaphors and stuff like that. A lot of times these rappers they don't use like a lot of metaphors. It's just like it is talking straight to the point. Which sometimes it's alright, but I kind of do like the wordplay. That's why I probably still listen to Jadakiss and Styles P, and a lot of these people like that. I even listen to Dave East because I feel like Dave East got that wordplay too. Like he might say something like he said, "I get it from Arizona." I was like, "Oh shoot!" So you know what I mean. So it's like different thing. He just talking about. He's like, like metaphorically, I rock with that. Definitely.
And it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Dave East. Yeah, and Freddie was, to me, rest in peace to Fred the Godson. Fred was like the incredible punchline king. Like, it was like he would come up with regular shit to say, but it was so fly. Yeah, it was so easy for him to come up with it that it only seemed like it was no effort to it.
Yeah, word. I was just like, did you even try this? Did you try that, or it just came naturally? I was what you were trying to think with him, like. His wordplay, his bars, his scheme wise, he switched up his flow. He had the punchline. He was like a total package. You know what I mean? And I feel like the world didn't really get to hear his music or really get to see him that much. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Any viewers who never listened to Fred the Godson, listen to his music. He have bars.
Yes, crazy bars. And I had the opportunity to interview Fred, and the footage is somewhere. It's on YouTube. I think I posted it a couple of months ago. And in the interview, it's crazy because at the time Fred was going through an asthma attack, and frequently he would have those, during certain sessions and stuff like that. And I would, I'm OG. I'm getting ready to tell you, like, I got asthma. I got asthma too. So I'm telling Fred, I'm like, yo, let me get you a ginger ale. I'm gonna get you a ginger ale or whatever. But now we starting the show. So we go into the interview, you can't really hear the intense breathing that he has, but I can hear him because I'm sitting right next to him. And I can tell that he's short of breath. So I tell my man that's out in the audience, I point to him, and I'm like, yo, go get my man, go get him a ginger ale. And I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm getting ready to cut to the scene. I'm like, we'll be back in a couple of seconds. Your boy DJ Strategy right here with Fred the Godson. We can right now we're gonna go to the song, one of my favorite joints from Fred the Godson, featuring Styles P, Move a Little Different. And as soon as I stand up,
that's my shit.
As soon as I stand up, see, right? As soon as I stand up, my man throws the can. He throws the can of soda to me in the air. Now, mind you, I'm sitting there with Fred. I got the microphone in my hand. I catch the fucking can of soda, bring it down, open it up, pass it to Fred the Godson, and it's a timeless moment, a moment in time that nobody can ever say that ever happened. Like, you know what I mean? I caught the joint on point, everything. It was just crazy. The footage is crazy, and that brought me and Fred a lot closer. That also he kind of hosted my mixtape that I had come out. It was called Under the Streetlight Radio Presents the First Quarter Slaughter, and that was my first installment into the mixtape game. It was featuring a lot of artists too, man. I had so many artists on there. I had Quan Lee. I had Fred the Godson on there. I had brand new joints from Stack Bundles. I had so many artists on there that was crazy. I had to do 2 volumes because what I would do is all the music that would come in from the radio show, once you would submit that music to the radio show, I would put it in rotation when I did the show every week. Mind you, I'm not charged. Let me tell you something, G. I could be a super millionaire if I would have did 2 different things. If I would have charged people, and if I would have sold my soul.
All right.
Or every cent. If I would have charged for every single thing that I did, I would more than likely definitely be a millionaire or a gazillionaire or something like that. But I always felt like, that camaraderie and that favoritism comes out of impartiality. By you giving a person a chance and by being impartial, you're giving that person the opportunity to do things, from a different perspective without causing them to have to put a constraint on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't chokeholding nobody to make them give you that music or to make you play it. You understand what I'm saying? It comes out of a genuine love or genuine respect for the industry and for their artistry. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I wouldn't charge people, but if I had to charge people for a lot of stuff I did, I probably would definitely be rich. You know what I mean? But like you said, this just going back to the industry and just thinking about how it is now, with that Young Dolph situation, with Stack Bundles, with Chinks Drugs, with King Vaughn, with Nipsey, with Pop Smoke, all of that. It's like it's almost to the point where, like I said, the hardest job right now is to be a rapper and to come home and be safe to your family. Be safe and be able to go home to your family and your kids. I think that's the hardest job. I think, and it's a thin line because you know why? I think a lot of times the artists don't realize that in order for you to be the legend that you want to be, or in order for you to be the famous person that you want to be, you have to be around without being around. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I could tell an artist tonight. You got to be able to be around your people without being around your people. That means you can't be spending, extra 16 hours in the studio because you want to sit there and smoke weed and drink Henny.
Yeah.
One of the most phenomenal people that I ever been in the studio with was Tupac. And Pac didn't waste that time. Pac never wasted that time. He had a whole concept of what he was doing before he even got in the studio, before he even got ready to record. He already knew what he was going to do. So even though there was weed and there was Hennessy involved, he was in there chopping up 16, 17 songs, and then he was out in that session. And I'm saying that to say this. It doesn't take that for you to be exposed to the streets for 15, 16 hours. You out here, you hanging around, doing this, doing that, showing off all your money on social media, showing off all your jewelry, social media, and you think that the times is not going to catch you. One of the things that kept a lot of the hustlers and some of the gangsters alive back in the days was that they didn't floss. They didn't take pictures. They wasn't in everybody's video. They wasn't on every set because they knew that that notoriety was going to bring change, number one, and it was going to bring attention. And if you wanted to get money and you was a hustler, you wasn't trying to get all of that attention. You know what I'm saying? Because attention mean police, attention mean robbers, stick up kids, all that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you had to be smart enough to know. You had to be smart enough to know that.
My bad to cut you off. I remember one time Jeezy said he was just like he wasn't used to the fame because Jeezy was a real trapper boy. He really trapped it out. He said he remember he'd be in a club, he see somebody taking a picture of him. He said he immediately wanted to have, if I'm not mistaken, he said he immediately wanted to have one of his boys go and grab the dude, like, why are you taking pictures for? Because that used to mean the feds, you know what I mean?
Right.
On your
That's
take a
That's
picture. But then he said, damn, that's paparazzi. He said, damn, I'm famous. He said you can't. So you know what I mean? So it's just like when you're real, I feel like a lot of these artists, they're not a lot of them not real trappers, so or they're really not living that life, so they don't know how to move. You know what I mean? It's a persona that they're acting. It's a persona that they're putting on the mic. But in real life, now you kind of have to be like that because the fact is now you're walking late. People are gonna try you. People are gonna test you now. So this is all that involved with it now. They think you like that. They want to see if you really like that in real life or you just rapping about it. You know what I mean?
Right, because we got to remember is one of the, and people think this way differently. Now, imagine the fact that your mind, let's say for your physical mind, and you can think of something in your mind. Now you're thinking of something in your mind, and then it comes out through your mouth, and you speak it into existence. Put that out, that energy out into the universe. It has to come back some type of way. You understand what I'm saying? It got to come back some type of way because you put it out there. So with that being said, a lot of times you kind of feel like these artists or these people are calling that to them. They calling that energy to them by speaking those certain things into existence. You know what I'm saying? Like people used to say all the time about Pop. Like he was calling the angels of death to come and save him. I think
the same thing with Big. You know what I mean? Ready to die, life after death. You ain't nothing till somebody kill you. You know what I mean? Suicide thoughts. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
But you don't. But people don't realize because people are not metaphysical like that. They're not on that level of reality yet. But I think now because of social media and because of, information, information that's out there now, you can see that people get more in tune with understanding those chakras and understanding that certain things that you say out your mouth, you're going to be held accountable for. You know what I'm saying? Because, somebody's going to test that. Because at some point in time, somebody's going to test that. And see the difference between now and back then, when you was an MC back then, you talking about gangster, this, gangster, that. You had to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily to a degree that you had to prove your gangsterdom, but you had to prove what you were saying was true. And then there was an imaginary aspect to it too in the early parts.
It's still entertainment. As I tell people, it's still entertainment.
Right. It was still some entertainment in the early parts because ain't nobody, everybody know that the dudes from Sugar Hill didn't have no color TV, so they could see the Knicks play basketball. They They didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that they didn't have, you know, those things, but it was the braggadociousness that came with it that called, again, called those things into existence. By them talking about those things, it created an energy or a level of energy that was dealing with the laws of attraction that brought those things to them. You understand what I'm saying?
And they had to work at it too. It's just not, I think a lot of people think you just speak it and you just gonna be like this. And it's just gonna come to you. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was effort that was put to that. So with that being said, like you gotta be careful, artists that, you know, you might be listening, but just be careful of what you say because you're gonna be held accountable for it, or, you know, for that matter, you know, you don't be calling that negative energy towards you because you want to be, you know, popular. You know, I was having a conversation about that with an artist the other day, and I was telling them, like, you know, you don't want to be this dude right here. You don't want to be him. You know, yeah, but he's famous. You know, he's a beast. I like the way he flowed. Yeah, but you don't want to be him. You want to be you.
Yeah.
You want your personal experiences, your personal understanding of the industry and all of that to be confined to your own energy so that you can express it to a way that somebody else is going to identify with it. If you fake it, they ain't going to identify with you. And you're going to be the last. They don't want to hear your music. They're going to be like, oh, he sounds just like so-and-so. Or he sounds just like so-and-so. So it ain't going to spark anybody's interest.
And I ain't gonna front. That was the thing that kind of kept me listening to the younger cats. But then after Pop Smoke died, I listened to a lot of his music, and I'm like, yo, this dude was really dope. What was I doing not listening to this dude when he was alive? So that kind of made me want to listen to like the younger dudes, just to be like, okay. So I make sure I don't rock with him. I don't rock with him. I rock with him. I rock with him. I don't rock with him because I don't want to be like another. I don't want to hear about none of these other MCs that passed away and then he's dope and I don't know about it and I never gave him his flowers while he was alive. So you know what I mean. So I'm a big person on giving people flowers while they're alive because I feel like too many times we only get our flowers while we in the casket and nobody's not.
Well, I could tell you for a fact right now, just doing this interview, I appreciate the fact that you having me on New England Hippies here because a lot of people don't hit my phone. They don't hit me no more, you know, unless it's for a favor. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, you know, they'd be like, yo, Strategy, what's up? You know, what's going on? Thank you for always, you know, supporting. You know, a lot of people forget shit and they forget it not because of the fact that they forget you because they want to forget you. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to be relevant no more. But like I said, don't worry. I'll be back outside a little while. You shade of gray off. We'll be back outside a little while.
My fault to cut you off. I just want to give you your flowers, man. You know what I mean? Because like you said, man, we met at Hampton Beach. Man, we did, you know what I mean? You was on it ones and twos. You did the show. I had some artists come up there, perform and stuff like that. Like you said, we chopped it up. And then I was just like, man, and then it's crazy. Like you said, you a little older than me. You an OG. You know what I mean? And then I was just like, no, I said, nah, he's cool as hell. I said, shoot, he's, you know what I mean? I forgot I was talking to, like, he don't, you know, some OGs, they be trying to preach to you and all that stuff like that. You just sat there, we just had a regular old conversation. I was like, nah, man, he's cool as hell. He's not like what you think. I said, I rock with him. And I also like the fact is that you rock with independent artists because a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people just want to rock with the top 40 and just want to rock with Nicki Minaj's. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on you. Do your thing. I think we still should show them love too, but you should still show love to the independent people who you know independent cats because it's a lot of dope cats, man. That's on the independent.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, right? Definitely. And shameless plug right now. I'm working with two phenomenal R&B artists right now. The runner-up for season 12, the voice Jay Chosen. I just mentioned him earlier, and also helping out one of the queens of the R&B industry right now. She's coming through the ranks out of Jersey. Her name is Kira B. Big shout out to Kira B. And I just finished a mixtape for Philly artist. Big shout out to him, Jay Weldon. Big shout out to you, Jay Weldon, South Philly artist. And I'm still here. Like I said, I'm still relevant. I mean, I'm still in the culture. I ain't going nowhere. UTSL the network will be coming back to Instagram Live in the next couple of weeks. I got some videos coming up. My footage, like I said, I found one of my old flash drives from some of the interviews that I had from back in the day. So I'm gonna start uploading that to social media. I'm definitely out here in these streets of the Poconos. Every Friday and Saturday night, I'm at Weary's Pub, DJing, and I've been DJing. Prior to that, last week I was at the Melanin Lounge, pardon me, Melanin Lounge out there in Toby Hanna. Prior to that, I was out at the Hilton Hotel for the Scorpios weekend, along with a couple of other DJs. So I'm definitely still out. I'm still outside. I'm just, kind of maneuvering. I ain't, trying to stay legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, being around.
You're already legendary. You're already a legend. You're already there.
Being around. Yeah, I had to recoup because I was thinking the other day, I was like, yo, I'm one of the only dudes that can say that in this industry other than producer Easy Mo B. I'm like one of the only dudes in the industry that can say that they've been in the presence of Biggie and Pop. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
One of the only dudes. I mean, only other it's some, other people, but I'm just saying I'm one of the dudes that can say that. I met both of them respectfully. At a time in their career where they was basically just starting. One of the things I like to address, like I said, I wanted to address that part, the violence part of it. That I think we need to kind of get to that. And then, like you said, just paying homage to certain artists, like in the industry that came forth and paved the way for a lot of other artists. But like I said, you said earlier, I don't discriminate, bro. I try to give everybody a shot. Give everybody a chance. Give them an opportunity to get their music heard. With, on my platform, whatever way I can possibly. But at the same time, I am mindful, and I keep my ear to the streets and I keep my eyes on the culture. And certain stuff, I do have to say, I'm not going to be a part of that. But the drill scene, that drill music scene, man, it came so fast. See, it came so fast, so rapidly, and it changed the whole trajectory of the industry so fast that a lot of DJs really couldn't grasp into it at first. And it came from shout out to my nephew Sluggo the Don. It came from my nephews, the younger crowd. Like I told you earlier, like, yo, Uncle G, you ain't got that joint?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got that joint? You ain't got the ticket to the old joint? You ain't got, wait a minute, you don't know who this dude is? So it's incumbent upon me, like, and I even got a little strategy that I do every week. I mean, I don't want to put it out there because sometimes people be listening, try to check out how you do your recipe or how you put your food together. I don't mind sharing the recipe, but I'm not going to teach you how to cook it. I'm just going to share the recipe, whatever. But I have a strategy that what I do every week. What I do every week is I go through every single genre. And when I say every single genre, if you look at my playlist or if you look at my Serato library, you're going to see it's at least 600 to 700,000 songs strong. I'm going to say it again. 600 to 700,000 songs.
So is that like for like each genre or just in general?
That's each genre. It's a conglomerate of songs, but each genre is respectfully, situated in there.
Okay.
Now you talk, respectfully situated in there. So you're talking from Frank Sinatra all the way to Fred the Godson. You know what I'm saying? That type of level of interest, because at the end of the day, a DJ is considered a musician. With all intents and purposes, with all due respect, that's what a DJ is. You're an instrument. That's all you are. At the end of the day, you're an instrument, and the way that you play that instrument or the way that you play those records can cause you know, the same type of effect that an instrument does. So I like to be able to. One of my favorite DJs is Kid Capri. Reason why Kid Capri is one of my favorite DJs, because there's never a time that Kid Capri, you see him typing on his computer. If he's looking for a song, he can find that song. If he's looking for a mood, he can find that mood easily, no problem at all. So I always wanted to be like Kid Capri when it came to that. I ain't never have to want to look for no song. So like I said, when the drill stuff started coming out, you know, I'm looking into it like, because I'm getting it from England, I'm getting it from London, because one of my big shout out to Tim Westwood from London, England.
Shout out to Tim Westwood.
But I'm a big fan of Tim Westwood's show. Because he was one of, like I said, see, we going back to that paying homage. Tim Westwood was one of the first people to promote my nephew on his radio show back when my nephew Troy Slug was just getting in the industry. So always pay homage to him. And Tim always keep you up on what's going on. So at first, when I went over there on that side, I grabbed Stefflon Don. Official. Female spitter, female CD. She's dangerous. She is super, super dangerous. Stefflon Don is super dangerous. But then when I was there, that's when I caught the drill. And I caught that drill music. And then I seen it coming to New York, coming that way. But it just came so fast, you know what I mean? That I had to really get into it. You know what I'm saying? Get into it. But every genre, bro, like I said, from drill music, from bachata, merengue, salsa, hip hop, old school R&B, club, house, go-go music. I got everything. When I tell you I got everything. Everything.
Facts. Yep. I mean, New England hippies, we definitely enjoyed having you. Man, we gotta get you a person so we can get you a hippie bag. No cap.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely chop it up soon, because, like I said, I really enjoy being in New Hampshire. Yes. I want to see what it's like. I want to see what it's like in New England. I want to come that way. I want to come that way when y'all not playing them Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
We got not playing. So it's all love, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be there, you know, when we playing y'all, you know, football, you know, because
the Pats is gonna win though. You know that.
I gotta be loyal to my team. Big shout out to my nephew Randy Gregory, number 94 from the Dallas Cowboys. Big shout out to you, Randy, doing his numbers. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, that's the only thing we don't got in common. You know,
okay. You know what I mean? Yo, I'm a Patriot. I'm a diehard Patriots fan. I'm living up, dying with the Patriots. You know what I mean? I still love Brady though. I still rock with Brady. I still root for Brady. I'm not one of these cats that be hating on Brady because he left the team. I still root for Brady, but it's still the Pats all the way, man. So you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
My bad, man. You know what I mean? So anytime. Did we play? Did you play on this year? Oh yeah, y'all won that though. Y'all won that this year.
We did get y'all.
Y'all got that this year. Once you play that again, I'll only hit you. I got money on it though next time.
Yeah. My nephew got his first. I think my nephew got his first sack. I think he got his first sack on New England. I think.
On Jones. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to your nephew. You know what I mean? Okay, I know that's your nephew, so you know what I mean. I'm individually gonna root. I'm gonna root for him. You know what I mean? Hope he put in that work. You know what I mean?
Doubt.
But you know what I mean? But every time they play the Pats though, man, because I ain't gonna front.
It is what it is.
I'm from New England, but like all my family from South Carolina, they all love the Cowboys. So you know, you be talking trash back and forth, like you know what I mean. We were like, yo, you talking trash about the Patriots, I be talking trash about the Cowboys. So it always goes back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that we know when the game day come, you know, you just put that. You put that New England pack up, and I'll put that Cowboy pack up.
All
know
right,
what I mean?
facts. I got you. You know what I mean? Yo, the Patriots always gonna come through with win though for me. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And just let
No
you know,
doubt.
while quarterback's getting better though, y'all faced us when our quarterback was still kind of shaky. He was kind of
Yeah,
shaky.
yeah,
I was like, damn.
yeah,
I was like, we should have kept Cam, but he's playing
yeah,
good now. Shout out to Cam Newton too. I was kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
upset when I ain't gonna front. I was kind of upset when they kind of cut Cam. I was like, why you gonna cut Cam for the rookie? At least don't have him as a backup. But you know,
Right.
having Cam as a
Yeah.
backup, Cam was gonna try to get that star, gonna get that star job back, and that rookie might not have. He wasn't gonna be able to, might not be able to play through that. He's only a rookie. He don't. You know what I mean? But I'm so happy Cam went back to South Carolina. I mean, no, Carolina. And he's
But
doing his thing.
yeah.
So shout out to Cam. But
But
yeah, man, I'm a big football fan.
but if you ever need, like I said before, if you ever need my assistance as far as with breaking any artists from out of New England, you got my email. Send me some joints. Any New England artist that's out there, you know, that's associated with the whole New England hippies, hip hop, bebop, whatever type of music that you do, feel free.
I got you. I got your email, so we definitely gonna. Yeah, I got you. I got a few artists of mine already. I'm gonna link you up with. I'm gonna send you an email. You know what I mean?
Nice, no doubt.
But yo,
and then what I'll do, and
fault.
what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll promote them on my Instagram platform. What I got coming up, UTSL Network live on Instagram with yours truly, DJ Strategy. Gonna be on Thursday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Gonna be doing official interviews. I'm gonna be doing some recaps on my old shows, bringing up some of those old memories from shows that I did in the past, and showing some of that footage some nights. So just get into it. Once I get everything started, I'll make sure I got you tuned in. Don't worry about it.
No doubt, no doubt, man. Before you go, man, let everybody New England hippies, man, let everybody know where to hit you up on social media at, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Big shout out to the whole New England hippie family. Big shout out to the whole New England. Thank you for having me. See, y'all can find me, like I said, every Friday, Saturday night. I'm right here local in the Poconos, DJing right at Weary's, right here, 5049 Milford Road in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Or you can find me on Instagram at DJ Strategy. Don't put the Y, put the two E's. Y, the two E's. Don't put the Y, put the two E's. STRATAGEE at DJ Strategy on Instagram. That's where you can find me. Also, you can find me on Under the Streetlight Radio on Facebook as well. And look out for some of the new projects that I got coming out. Like I said, right now, go ahead and download that Jay Weldon right now on iTunes, on all musical platforms right now. It's called damn, what's the name of it? It's a sample that I use from Jadakiss too. It's called As Soon As They Think I Won. As Soon As They Think I Won, or As Soon As They Think I Lost. One of them. I can't remember the title of it. But right now, it's on all platforms right now. Jay Weldon, official mixtape out right now. South Philly native. He assured me and gave me the opportunity to work with him on that. Like I said, any other artists out there that's interested, putting together a project, hit me up, DJ Strategy at UTSL at gmail.com.
Oh.
Peace to everybody that's out there. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, you know what I mean? And stay a New England hippie.
Yo, no doubt, man. How much weed do you smoke, man? Cause you forgot, man. I see you short time, man.
Yeah, I ain't even mention that. You see me dip off to the side, right? Yeah. I want to keep it a little, keep a little parental guidance on it. Yo, yeah, man, but I super smoke. I super smoke, man. I don't even have a limit because the reason why I don't have a limit because I suffered, no jokes. I'm just being honest. No PTSD. From this lifestyle.
We all got PTSD. Me too.
From this lifestyle, being a black man in America, man, I don't know what I would do without my herbs. You know what I mean? So yeah, I may go. I got a wifey. So we we burn and turn. We turn and burn. So, and as a matter of fact, that night we was out there. I think we was burning that night. We was in the room, in the cypher.
I think so. Yeah,
we was in the cypher. Yeah. I think we was building about the next event we're gonna put together, man. Yeah, no doubt. And so I said, I gotta come out there. I gotta come out there. I gotta see
Yo,
what's
we
going
got
on
you,
out
man.
there.
Yo, we got you, man. No doubt, man.
I know New England ain't just good for baked potatoes, it's good for something else too.
I doubt. Yo, come through. I'm gonna show you. No doubt, I got you, man. You know what I mean? And it's your boy Cloud9, man. Hold on, before I go, man. Like I said all the time, y'all know where to check me out at, man. You check out New England Hippies, everything. New England Hippie podcast on IG, my fan page on Facebook, New England Hippies. Hit me up. I mean, you can listen to this, listen to other podcasts on Spotify, Anchor. You know what I mean? I'm everywhere, man. Just holler at your boy Cloud9, man. And you know, I'm the host of New England Hippies, the hippiest podcast of the land. Cause I ain't gonna front, I just smoked 4 blunts, so I'm stoned. You already know, man. I'm going on a record. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So yeah, man, it's your boy Cloud9, man. Shout out to DJ, man. Strategy, man. He was here blessing me, man, with a crazy good interview, man. You know what I mean? All love and peace, man. We out, man. Let's go.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?